Top 15 foods for heart health. Crazy important, especially in today's world. So many sudden heart incidences, younger people having more heart incidences. Whole other story of why that's happening. We've got to take care of our hearts. My dad had a sudden heart issue at age 51, transported to the hospital, lost his job, lost his career, full of inflammation, open heart surgery. I lived it. So I study this a ton. I want to give you a full masterclass resource to break down everything about the heart. That link is in the description, but let's break down the top 15 foods. Number 15, controversial out of the gate, but it's true, shows the research. Sea salt. Salt is actually very important for heart health. In fact, they did a study with a couple 100 million people, and they found those that have a very low salt diet were at high risk of having strokes and heart attacks. Those that had a very high processed salt diet were at a lot high risk for having heart attacks and strokes. But those that had a moderate, proper sea salt, real salt diet excelled and had less heart attacks and less strokes. Insane. We need the electrolytes, which means we need proper salt. Table salt, NaCl, is toxic. Real salt, Himalayan, Celtic sea salt, very good for you. We need electrolytes in potassium and magnesium, let alone calcium and chlorine. Super important for heart health. We need the electrolytes. Number 15 out of the gates, sea salt. Number 14, drinking green tea. That might be your drink of choice, especially if it's heart problem related. It's chock full of antioxidants. And so with a cup of green tea, you get polyphenols, you get catechins. Now these prevent from cell damage. They reduce inflammation, which is huge. They protect the heart. A study showed that drinking green tea actually helps to increase your leptin burning up, more efficient, right, at fat burning, but it also reduced your LDL cholesterol. Interesting. Another review from a study perspective shows that it also helps aid in reducing blood pressure. So number 14, drink some green tea. Natural or organic is better. Number 13, olive oil packed with antioxidants. This helps relieve inflammation. Now, do not make olive oil bad by heating it too hot. If you smoke olive oil, you got to throw it out, start over again, because you just damaged all the good stuff. This is a big mistake. So we cannot heat it too hot, very low heat. I like to use it on salads, like to use it in kind of salads that are like mixed up, like a broccoli salad, right? Some good recipes for that on drlivingood.com. So rich in monounsaturated fatty acids. Many studies show direct correlation between olive oil and its lowering of risk of heart disease. In fact, one study was 7,216 people, 35% lower risk of developing heart disease by consuming olive oil on a regular basis. So when you are consuming olive oil, you're getting a lot of those extra antioxidants, very helpful, helping out the inflammation in the body, but it also lowers your blood pressure. So olive oil, oil of choice for heart health. Number 12, garlic. So good for the heart, right? Especially the extract of garlic. I use this in my cholesterol support supplement because the studies on it are fantastic at helping to lower LDL, the so-called bad cholesterol, and helping to level out the lipids. It also helps support, over a 24-week period of time, shows the studies that it can help reduce blood pressure from that as well, and it prevents platelet buildups. So it's going to reduce your stroke risk. So getting garlic in, super good for you. Like to mix it in with the veggies, right? When you're cooking, adding it in as a seasoning as much as you can, or you can actually take the aged garlic extract properly in a supplement form. I like that in the cholesterol supplement that we make. Garlic, excellent for heart health. Number 11, chia and flax seeds. These little friends can be used all the time. Love them. You can put them into your smoothies. You can make chia seed pudding. That recipe's on drlivingood.com. Really delicious things with them. Now, the flax itself is an excellent source of the plant-based omega-3s. Lots of benefits in the body, especially when it comes to your cardiovascular risks and also cancer, but it helps gastrointestinal health. It lowers the amount of inflammation in the body, is very heart friendly. Chia seeds, also the same thing. Some preliminary studies on that found that it actually helps to lower your triglyceride levels and to help boost beneficial HDL. These are excellent sources of plant-based omega-3s. I would get them in their full seed form. When you start messing with the oil, it can get a little dicey because flaxseed oil can go rancid very quickly. Chias can be absolutely delicious, especially as a dessert. So check out those seeds for heart health. Number 10, almonds. Assuming you're not having a sensitivity of them, eating raw almonds in a raw form, not cooked in bad rancid oils, that would be the opposite of heart health, not doused in sugar, right? Raw almonds. And if you even want to soak them overnight, you can sprout them as well for even more nutrient benefits. But there's one study that shows 48 people that had high cholesterol ate 1.5 ounces, that's 43 grams of almonds daily for just 6 weeks. And they reduced their belly fat levels and their LDL cholesterol levels, two big risk factors for heart disease, just by eating some almonds. So they're associated with increasing HDL with certain studies, and they prevent plaque buildup. So chock full of nutrients. They're an excellent source of magnesium, which is going to be very heart healthy, and it's going to be thermogenic, which means it's going to burn up fat inside of your body and support your muscles, your heart being the most important muscle. Get some almonds in. Number 9, tomato. Wow, sneak this one in there. Assuming you don't have any sensitivities to nightshades, enjoying some tomatoes. As a kid, used to get them out of the garden. It's like the best tomato ever. Low levels of lycopene, which are found very high in tomatoes, are linked directly to an increased risk of heart attacks and strokes. If your lycopene levels are down, got a higher risk of that. Man, this is a big thing for us. So increasing tomato intake increases lycopene levels, and it has a positive effect on the lipids inside of your blood pressure levels, and the endothelial function, which is controlling your blood vessels in and out. Another study in women that were overweight, they found that eating 2 raw tomatoes 4 times a week increased their levels of HDL, their good cholesterol. So if you're getting them out of the garden and they're coming hand over fist, especially during the summertime, lean into that. It's very heart healthy. And the best way I think you can eat them, to encompass 2 of these, slice them, put some sea salt and a little bit of pepper. So good fresh out of the garden. Both of those, the sea salt and the tomato, very heart healthy. Number 8, you're gonna like this one. Dark chocolate. Chocolate lovers, all right, you can lean in a little bit. Dark chocolate itself is packed full of antioxidants. It's all the other stuff that's put in there. So you need to be picky. If you get it like coffee in a more organic form, you're gonna eliminate a lot of the chemicals and things associated with it, and then you're gonna get all those good antioxidants. And studies show these are very heart healthy. In fact, consuming chocolate in moderation, less than 6 servings a week, okay, can't overdo this, moderation, your moderation might be different than someone else's, actually decreases your risk of coronary heart disease. So take advantage of the antioxidants and the flavonoids found in real chocolate. Get a little heart benefit on the side. Number 7, beans. Beans are fantastic. So many different benefits from them. When you're eating them, you're getting some carbs, but you're also taking in so much good fiber that's going to have a negative effect on that blood sugar. Helps to keep it stabilized. Very important for preventing type 2 diabetes, which is one of the number 1 predictors of forming into heart disease. But people that ate beans, right? They did a study. There's 16 people they took, and they found eating just pinto beans, or maybe your bean of choice, reduced blood triglyceride levels and LDL cholesterol. Has an impact on that. Another study found that a diet high in beans significantly reduces LDL bad cholesterol, right? So because of the impact it has on the lipids and the blood sugar levels, beans should absolutely be in the diet of someone trying to, or bean protein, I should say as well, into the diet of someone trying to prevent heart risk factors. Number 6, walnuts. Walnuts should be a superfood. Great source of fiber, lots of micronutrients, great source of magnesium, copper, manganese. These are these micronutrients that we just sometimes really lack and can be creating problems. And they just show that they can help protect the heart against heart disease because they have so many antioxidants. But there's one big study that they did in 2009 on 365 people that showed diets supplementing with walnuts led to greater decreases in LDL and cholesterol levels. So you can see a theme. A lot of these nuts and these foods really have a big impact on the cholesterol problems that plague a lot of us, but just chocked full of good sources of nutrients and omega-3s, and they're anti-inflammatory, and it only takes a couple to get the nutrients in. Number 5, avocado. Yeah, you know what's up. Alexa, play the avocado song. I love doing that every time I talk about avocados. They're a superfood. So much goodness, especially when it comes to your heart. One study looked at 3 cholesterol-lowering diets in 45 people that were overweight and obese, and one with test groups consumed 1 avocado every single day. When they're looking at split them into 3 diets, one of them consumed an avocado. The avocado group reduce their LDL cholesterol, including lower levels of the small and the big LDL. So that's the key disclaimer there, because small particles are what get you in trouble. So if you have a high LDL, you need to measure the small particle sizes. That's in a different cholesterol video on my channel here. But it significantly reduces heart disease risk when you can lower smaller LDLs. So to get those down, eat avocados. Avocados are really rich in potassium and magnesium. Potassium's a big heart healthy electrolyte, and we're really deficient in it. But one avocado supplies 975 milligrams of potassium. Poof! 28% of the amount that you need during the day. One avocado, that is super heart friendly. It's gonna help flow fluid off of the body, right? 4.7 grams of potassium per day can decrease your blood pressure on average 8 points. So putting that in, much lower risk of strokes just from eating the avocados. Number 4, berries, blueberries, raspberries, strawberries. Really love them because they're low on the glycemic scale, so they don't spike your blood sugar levels, and they're absolutely packed with nutrients. They're loaded with antioxidants. Those protect against the oxidative stresses and the inflammation that damages our body, including the damage done to our heart. A lot of studies backing this up. One study showed with 33 adults with obesity that when they consumed just strawberries, 2.5 servings for 4 weeks each day, significantly improved their insulin resistance and their LDL cholesterol. Just strawberries, put them in their diet. Another study found that eating blueberries daily improved the function of the cells of the blood vessels, helps control blood pressure, and then it's prevented blood clotting from blueberries. Just simply putting these in has an impact on LDL, has an impact on blood pressure, has an impact on your BMI, has an impact on levels of inflammation. So if you're seeing that your CRP levels, your inflammation in your heart, if that level is up, you have artery problems, you have blood pressure problems, you have cholesterol problems, add berries to your daily regimen, either in your smoothie or eat them straight up. Number 3 comes with a disclaimer. We're gonna go whole grains, but a lot of times grains get us in a lot of trouble. Way too many carbohydrates, but oftentimes the way we consume grains is with bad fats. So I'm gonna kind of compare these two together, that if you can understand good versus bad fats, which we'll talk a little bit more on in a second, we increase the amount of omega-3s in our diet, seeds, good fish oils. We lower the amount of omega-6s in our diet, which are bad seed oils. Then we start to level out the inflammation, and then we don't want to add more of that in by eating too many carbs in the form of crackers and breads and tortillas. These are loaded with bad fats and bad grains. But if we are going to add grains back in, they need to be whole grains, whole grain wheat, sprouted wheat, whole seed bread, where it's the whole seed, the whole grain, which has all the nutrients. What it comes with is it's not stripped down to the white bread. It's got all the fiber and all the nutrients in it. Those can be beneficial. They don't have as much impact on your carbohydrates and on your blood sugar levels because you get the fiber. So that helps to offset that. And studies have shown that putting whole grains in does have an impact on your heart disease risk, up to 22% reduction. But it's gotta be that whole grain form. If you're having a pasta, I a lot of times go the bean form. But if you are having a bread, I go a whole seeded bread or a whole grain bread that's got a lot of protein and fiber and omega-3s along with it. That's what you're looking for. And stay away from the oils in the bread or in the grain if you're going that route. They can be beneficial. They can be very heart friendly. Just proceed with caution. Number 2, veggies, green leafy vegetables, spinach, kale, collard greens, excellent sources of a lot of different vitamins, vitamin K, which can help with your blood clotting side of things. Now, if you're on a medication for that, you don't want to overdo it. You can still have some. They're really good in nitrates, which is shown to reduce blood pressure. So they're a great source of that. That arterial stiffness, especially the older you get, helps to produce arteries that are a little bit softer, a little more pliable, lowers blood pressure, helps the lining of the blood vessels. And then even some studies show that there's a link between your increased intake of leafy greens and those vegetables and lowering your heart disease risk, okay? We don't necessarily need to overdo these, but you can simply add a handful to a smoothie and you're having spinach and kale for breakfast. When does that ever happen? So increasing the amount of leafy vegetables, 16% lower incidence of heart disease rates. Also showing that when you increase the amount of vegetables in your diet, you're lowering coronary artery disease risk too. So add in the leafy greens. If you need a powders greens, there's a link for that below. That's what I use to kind of cheat to get it in, or actual handfuls of spinach or kale in a smoothie is another easy way to do it. Let's go to number 1. Number 1, by far the king of heart health from nutrients and food perspective, fish and fish oil. Literally, Dr. Dyerberg was a researcher back in the 1960s, started to study populations around the world, went to the indigenous communities of the Eskimos, studied them for several weeks and found that their risk of heart disease cholesterol problems, blood pressure problems, and stroke risk was significantly lower than what was going on in America. So he wanted to know why. Well, he started to analyze their blood, and he found that their diet was very high in a newly found compound, which he found out to be omega-3s. And they were eating mostly fish fat, right? All the time. And that fish was making their blood a different composition, which was significantly lower their risk of heart disease. So he came back, started studying it. That's when he came up with omega-3s. He actually sits on the board of the company that helps us to make, I got with him, to make our omega-3s. Because the guy that discovered omega-3s, we wanted a concentrated type. The higher amounts of very pure, clean, concentrated omega-3 you can get into your blood, the lower your heart disease risk. So you can do this through eating salmon, mackerel, sardines, tuna, loaded with omega-3 fatty acids, right? The acids from the fish protect the vessels and the heart from developing cardiovascular disease and arrhythmias. Very powerful. There's another study that showed short-term using fish oil or eating fish lowers your total cholesterol, your total blood triglycerides, your fasting blood sugar, and your systolic blood pressure. Whoo! This is quadrupling up. If you don't love fish, like my wife, or a lot of people don't eat as much of it or not enough to get the impact, then you supplement with it. And even the supplement has tons of studies on it to lower and reduce your triglyceride levels, improve your arterial function, improve your brain health, and decrease your blood pressure. All massive impacts on blood flow, heart health. It's the #1 nutrient to get in for your heart. I put a link to my omega that I combine with a turmeric to give you a great blood-friendly solution and supplement. So check that out in the description below. But I put an entire heart health masterclass there where you can go through 3 days of learning like this for your cholesterol, for your blood pressure. It is the solution my dad needed many years ago because of his heart-related issues. It's a free course. You can get it below and get a discount on the omega turmeric. So check that link out. And as a next step in heart disease and coronary artery disease, clogged arteries. If you're fearing it, if you know you need to do a little work to try to reverse it and remove them or prevent them, check out this video I made for you right here.